Here we are, another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, the Barrie Colts have lassoed first place in the OHL Central Division with their sights set on the Eastern Conference title, with just a handful of games left in the regular season. A new program at the Simcoe Muskoka YMCA is helping youth develop the skills to make a difference in their communities. There's a move afoot to merge the art and business worlds for the greater good of both. Until now, they've been very leery of each other, and Bowl for Kids is back this year with a pajama party theme. We get the conversation started after this. One mission accomplished for the Barrie Colts, claiming the OHL Central Division Championship. With 5 games to play in the regular season, they still have a chance to finish first in the Eastern Conference. Barrie 360's Will Konken brings us up to speed with help from Colts writer and broadcaster Gene Pereira.
It was a 4-game week for the Colts. Started things off with a 7-4 loss to the Saginaw Spirit. Back in the win column against the Sioux Greyhounds 3-2. They got handled by the Sudbury Wolves 7-2, but clinched the division and got head coach Marty Williamson his 600th win after a 7-4 victory over the Niagara Ice Dogs. Gene, 2 big accomplishments. Talk about these.
Yeah, obviously, the first with Marty winning his 600th game, and quite an accomplishment, and 7th all-time in amongst the winningest coaches in OHL history, and that's pretty impressive. There's some big names up there: Brian Cam, Kilray, Bert Templeton, and Marty just keeps racking up the wins back there. It just really speaks to the success that he's had with both Barrie and Niagara Ice Dogs. So, obviously for him, still looking for that first OHL championship, but, quite a bit of success behind the bench and a nice feather in his cap. And I think, he'll be able to look back at this after the season, but right now, obviously locked in, and, they got another big accomplishment last night, which was one of their goals, which was clinching a Central Division title. It took them a little bit longer, I think, than what they thought it might have been, but it came around. And, again, when you look at, the start of the year, and, they've had a bit of a tough stretch here, but it's definitely a feather in their cap for them, and it speaks to just how good this team can be, and winning that division. It's the 9th in franchise history, first since 2018, so a nice accomplishment, and as well that obviously will give them no worse than a second seed in the Eastern Conference.
Gene, you wrote in one of your articles, and we've talked about it, it's been a Jekyll and Hyde second half of the season, and which one will we see come playoff time?
Yeah, it's been a disappointing stretch in the sense. I mean, the second half, it's just been back and forth, and, a couple of 5-game losing streaks, 5 and 6 game winning streak, and it's just been going back and forth, hot and cold, and, you wonder which Barrie team is it going to be, because, one night this looks like a team that can go to the OHL finals, and the next it looks like a team that's going to go out first round, and, that inconsistency, it's tough to gauge, and, this is a much better team than it's played at times, and, it just seems like, that when they want to, they're a very good hockey club, and, whatever it is that the issues that they've kind of gone through here, this recent past stretch, they weren't very good in Saginaw. Bennett Rebick won that game in Sioux 3-2. It was another poor effort there. And then Sunday it just got worse in Sudbury, where I thought they were really bad. And, they really got it handed to them. And, I kind of felt for Bennett Rebick was kind of left out to dry. And in that loss to Sudbury 7, but they were able to bounce back last night. But again, this is an inconsistency. They got the rest of this weekend and next weekend to kind of figure it out before the playoffs start. But look, there's bottom Niagara. They got a really good offense, and Sudbury obviously made some trades at the deadline to improve. North Bay's even won a a couple of games against Barrie, so they got to be careful here. They have to find that consistency, and whatever the issue here is, they're going to have to work it out and get online going to the playoffs. But no doubt, last night you hope is a much better effort, and that's the Barrie team. I think that a lot of people believe is the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Speaking of the North Bay, the former battalion trio has been playing better on the Colts, giving them a spark. Touch on that as well, Gene.
Yeah, I think last night in the second period, they've been broken up, obviously, with the Colts struggling, trying to find an answer, some different line combinations. But last night, Darwin Wakely and Anthony Romani and Owen Van Stiesel, the line was put back together in the second period, and they were just dominant. I think they showed, the difference they can make out there. The trio combined for 4 goals and 8 points. Again, Romani, just a pure scorer. Van Stiesel, kind of that hard worker, and Wakely, again, there's no doubt about the chemistry. And, for Barrie, they're a difference maker. And, you look at the depth on this team and Bowden, and, there's a lot of scoring options. But if that was a big part of the deadline, was to add that extra boost in scoring. And that North Bay trio, when they're on, there are a few better lines in the OHL.
Up next, the Brampton Steelheads for Friday, Sarnia Sting Saturday, and the North Bay Battalion, who we just mentioned, on Sunday. Gene, you also mentioned in your article, Barrie trails the Brantford Bulldogs by 3 points atop the Eastern Conference standings with only 5 games remaining. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a big part, obviously, for them. One of their goals was to win the division, but the other one was to win a conference title, and there's still an opportunity here as we head down the stretch drive behind the Bulldogs, 3 points and 5 games remaining. It won't be easy. You still got Kingston and Oshawa pushing there as well that are looking for that, first place topping in the East Division and the conference. So, but there's an opportunity here. But again, it's which team Barrie team is gonna play, and I think that's the motivation. Bo Giles have clearly pointed out that it's a must-win on Friday in Brampton, and to get things going here and give themselves a chance to win home ice, which, when you look at how close that conference has been this year, it's always important to get that home ice advantage, play in front of your home fans, and get that last line change come playoff time and allow you to match lines. So it's an important little stretch here for Barrie, and they can't finish any worse than second in the conference, but they're certainly gearing up to try to win the conference.
The playoffs are in sight. Till the next time, Gene.
Thanks, Will.
The Simcoe Muskoka YMCA has launched a new youth program in partnership with Georgian College. It's a 1-week program designed to inspire and equip youth with the tools to create meaningful change in their communities. Barrie 360's Ian MacLennan getting the goods from the Y's Dale Rowe.
Dale, the YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka launching the Youth Changemaker Leadership Institute. What is that?
Well, this is a program that's the first of its kind in Simcoe County and Muskoka. We're working with Georgian College, so it's an exciting opportunity for young people aged 9 to 14, which is about grades 5 to 8, with the tools to create meaningful change in their communities. So we're looking to co-design ideas for green, sustainable, peaceful, and just futures. We use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals along with Georgian College's Change the Now and teach young people about design thinking, and they get to select the topic that they want to work on, and they're going to come up with some ideas on how to solve that big community issue.
And what are some of the community issues, or that are on the table that the youth, the young people can explore?
Yeah, it could be anything like homelessness, poverty, hunger, mental health, maybe physical health, social isolation, environmental sustainability. It could be bullying in their schools. It could be, coming up with a recycling program for their school or making our communities more pollinator friendly. It's really up to the youth to decide what process they're going to design. And
so engaging with these young minds, why is this so important?
Well, I think it's really important for young people to build confidence and motivation and learn how to influence and use their ideas. We're building on growth mindset, like lots of different things to do, but mainly it's empowering young people to know that they have a voice, to know that they can make a change, and to help them gather the tools and be equipped to do that. And
this is it a week-long program?
It is a 1-week program, yes, and it's happening in Barrie, Aurelia, Bracebridge, Midland, and Collingwood. What do you hope they'll take away, and do they take some of these ideas, home with them to their schools? Where does it go after that 1 week? Absolutely. We hope that they'll take their ideas and put them into action. And really, they get an opportunity to prototype their ideas. So they get to even practice, try it out, market it to some of us, the other youth in the program, and really get a chance to kind of feel through like what needs to be involved when you're doing something like this, and who needs to be involved, and who's available to help you. And, they might go back to their schools and engage with their teachers in a different way. So we're really hoping that it has a big social impact, and we inspire these change makers to take action on the community issue that they're looking to solve. We have a website. It's ymcachangemakers.ca, and so the weeks and the locations are listed there and the price and further information.
There's an effort being made to bring the art and business worlds together. The art world has traditionally been intimidated by the business world, and the business world has seen the art world as exclusive and unapproachable. We're joined by Barrie visual artist Sean Dawson, who thinks if they could get along together, they have a lot to offer each other. What's going on here?
Well, I think that the majority of the world looks at art as a hobby, and that's great. People that do it as a hobby, I think any form of expression is great, as long as you put it into a positive manner. But the fact is that there's professionals out there too, and when you're a professional artist, it is being your own business. And I think there's quite a few ties and commonalities between the two. And one of the people I've partnered with over the years is Chris Adams, and he's the man that runs the Reignite conference up in Huntsville every September. And so we decided that it'd be great to have these talks where the art world and the business world meet, but also at the same time do it in front of an audience to make both worlds more approachable. And we've created sort of a mingling session where they come and listen to a talk on a topic, and then we have about an hour before and half an hour after for people to then mingle and see what can happen.
So, questions and answers, and maybe one side can help the other down the road.
Yes, we've actually had a lot of deals that have happened just in the short term that we've been doing this. We're into our second season. With the first season that we did it, we were actually nominated for a Barrie Mayor's Innovation Award because of the scene we're creating. And there's been musicians that have now signed contracts because of our talks. Artists are getting deals with companies and art exhibits and whatnot. So it's been, and this is just the beginning, and our shows are getting bigger and bigger.
You have one coming up soon?
We do. We have the big one. This is going to be probably one of the biggest ones we have this year, and it's in conjunction we're working with Georgian College. We're working with their content creation program as well as the art program. And the whole talk is based around art in the digital age. And we're going to be doing it March 20th at the downtown Georgian campus on Ross Street, and we're going to be doing it in the photography studio. So we're not only going to be working with Georgian College, we're going to be right in the heart of the content creation program, filming this for YouTube as well. We're going to be filming and editing this with Juicebox Studios and publishing it on YouTube.
Some would say digital has kind of taken the artistry out of art because you can do it all on a computer, and the computer can do it all for you, and you've got AI now. And is that the case, or there's still that human element that's involved?
Well, first of all, I think my response to that is I'm sure the art world said the same thing about the camera back in the 1800s. Also, the one thing that society has always loved, and I believe always will love, is craftsmanship. And yes, you can have craftsmanship in the digital space, in the digital world, but people also love tactile elements. They love to see the painterly brushstroke. Are we going to get there digitally? I'm not sure. And that's probably why it's one of the good reasons that we're going to be having this talk.
Tell us about how the talks have gone up till now. You mentioned you're marrying the two sides together, and there's been a lot of good content, a lot of good sharing, but Tell me how big it's been, what kinds of things have been discussed.
Well, we had one of our talks, our first talk last year was art and how it creates a sense of place. And a lot of that was about hanging artwork in businesses or even in your home, and how a blank wall is literally just a blank canvas. So why not put up something that can actually inspire thought, right? And that actually led into some people starting to collect local art as well for their businesses. And it's an investment too. We've also had music in the modern age, where we had people like Jason McCoy, the country musician, was one of our panelists. And that led into, not directly through him, but there was a young musician in the audience, and she ended up getting a record contract because of that talk. Now, back when we first started, our audiences were only maybe 10 to 15 people, and it's a mix of the art world and the business world. A lot of people from the Sandbox come and check out our talks. But yeah, we started off 10 or 15 people in the audience, and the last one we had, which was our season opener at the Queens, we had 60 people sitting there.
Good.
Yeah, so, and then I think at the Georgian College one, we're probably looking at over 100 people. So Beautiful. It's growing and growing and growing. And then we do have more talks coming up. We go right into June. June is when we stop it, and then we start up again in January the following year.
How big is the arts community in the Barrie area?
It's massive. It's massive. The MacLennan has done a wonderful job over the years of building a great community. They were one of the first galleries to really try to get the public into art and made it more accessible. There was a lot more outdoor art, and the city of Barrie is now doing that. They had the Seeds to Sow show last summer, where it was all work down by the lakeshore, which is still there too. Right, trying to get it out there, because a lot of people consider the art world, I hate saying it, a little snobby, because it can be, right? And it's nice that when you get, instead of worrying about people coming and seeing the art, the city of Barrie's done a wonderful job of bringing art to the people with the city itself and the MacLennan.
There are people, though, that you see artwork around the city, and it's a big thing for some people, but then you've got the critics that, why did we spend that much money on something like that? But that's an important part of the city. It's important to get that out there.
Oh, 100%. I think it's every city needs it. You need culture, right? If you don't have, it's my opinion that anything that we do as a society, it usually stems from the art. If we want to know anything we've done as human beings on this planet from the dawn of humans, we look at it through the art. If we want to know how cave people live, we looked at the cave drawings. If we want to know what the Renaissance is like, we look at the cathedrals, we look at Da Vinci's work. Even the 20th century, we look at 20th century through videos and photographs, right, which is all art. And so it's important to have art out in the public, because that will then inspire people to leave their mark in the world too.
And I think there's a thought process out there, if you're not involved in the art community, that the art community is a little eccentric.
Yep.
Right? And that's not a bad thing, because you're putting yourself out there. You're doing things that nobody else could think about doing or is afraid to do, but you're not.
Yes, I would agree. I think that it's the artist's job to push the boundaries, you know. I also think of art's most important function is, I've already said, to record time and place, but it's also the most universal form of language, right? If we write the word tree and show it to everybody in the world, not everyone's going to be able to understand what they're looking at. But if you draw a picture of a tree, everyone will. And it's up to the artist to push those boundaries, draw the tree sideways so it'll make people think, right? You want to leave that impression and show them that it's okay to think outside of the box.
Tell us about the upcoming meeting again, where it is, when it is, and how people can get involved.
So the next talk is, the series is called Start Making Sense, with the ART highlighted. And it's going to be at Georgian College's downtown campus at 5 Ross Street. The topic is Art in the Digital Age, and we have panelist Michael Farnan, who's the head of the Digital Fine Art program at Georgian College. We have Mike Dobsa, who's actually a guy that I've taught since he was 9 years old, but now he's grown up. And he's worked for people like Meta, so he's right in the heart of the digital
and
world.
Teaching you a few things. Now.
Yes. The student has become the teacher. Yeah. And then I also have Rachel from Rock 95. She's going to be one of the panelists talking. I want to have her on there to talk about the music and music and how it's changing the digital age and how we put music out there to everybody, because it's part of the arts too, right? And also Claire Dawson. Claire Dawson is the owner-operator of Underline Studios. They're an internationally recognized brand graphic design company who have won actually 500 international awards for their work. So we're going to be talking about art in the digital age, and if people are interested, they can check out our Instagram page at st.artmakingsense. So it's Start Making Sense with the dot in between the T and the A, and go to our Eventbrite page and sign up and get your free tickets. It doesn't cost anybody a penny. It runs from 6 to 8, March 20th, down at Georgian College.
And you will be enlightened.
Yes, and I'll be hosting it too. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I'm the one that's hosting the whole thing, asking the questions.
All right, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for doing this, and we'll see you there.
Thank you very much, sir.
It is the biggest fundraiser of the year for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and this year may be the most fun you can have outside of the home in your pajamas. The annual Bowl for Kids' Sake is a week away. Still time to sign up, as we hear from Brie Lefebvre, who's with our good friend Dale Smith from Cool Mornings on 107.5 Cool FM.
I don't think that people realize that Bowl for Kids' Sake is the biggest one, I think, of the year when it comes to all the fundraising events that we do for Big Brothers Big Sisters, right?
It absolutely is. This is a huge inaugural event for us, definitely one of our cornerstone fundraisers. And this year we have our eyes on $130,000, which will go to directly supporting our mentoring programs. Yeah. And as we know, with the climate of what's happening, we are needing services more and more for youth. So we definitely need to stretch these dollars.
Yeah, I guess so. And people don't realize, and if they do realize, that's great, but many people don't realize that you do not get government funding, correct?
Correct. We are 100% community funded, so that means that we are supported entirely just by those that are around us.
Yeah. Now, the fun thing about this is there's different, it almost becomes kind of competitive because there's the different nights where you have the different organizations, from people in the insurance industry to the people in the realty industry, the hospitality industry. And they get to come out, and I guess it's sort of like they all kind of know each other in the industry, but there's a little bit of competition that goes on, which makes it a very fun event.
Yes, and a little bit is definitely maybe not the word I would use. It can get really heated.
It
can be a lot of fun. Our Constructors Challenge is one of the biggest ones that we're seeing ramping up again this year. Realtors definitely got into it last year. Yeah. The financial night that's on our Tuesday, we have 2 back-to-back challenges. Oh, wow. And they are technically separate events that kind of focus on different industries. Okay. Anyone can join any of the events at any time. Right. But it's been a lot of our participants who have then named those events into quote-unquote challenges as they compete for those coveted bowling pins for the highest
Right. And the bragging rights, of course.
That's right.
Along with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where can they go if they want to get information now? If they haven't, hopefully they've already got their act together and they're getting the pledges and everything like that, because it is a pledge-based thing for the most part. But again, if we want to join, and there's always room to fit somebody in somewhere, right? Even if they don't, I mean, we have almost like these open calls where it's like, we can put teams together and stuff.
Exactly. We do have a couple of our challenges that are sold out, but everything is available at the website. If you go to barrie.bigbrothersbigsisters.ca and ways to give, it is on our events page for Bowl for Kids' Sake. Okay. It will bring you to another link and show you all of the availabilities that are still open for times, ways to get your team set. You can join another team. You could pledge other people who are there bowling. So we've got lots of time still, and we're going to keep those open 24 hours before each challenge. Right. So even if it's more of a last-minute thing and you think, what am I doing Sunday afternoon? Yeah. Come check it out on Friday or Saturday and feel free to join us. We would love to see you.
And the cool thing is with this fundraiser, which is different than other fundraisers, is that it does stretch over the space of several days.
Yes, we're there for a week.
So you have choices, because a lot of times you see a great fundraiser you want to be part of, but it's like, oh, I've already got something I got that day. I'm busy.
That's right.
But this gives you multiple choices to come out.
Absolutely. And it's all ages. So you can come with your families. You can come with your work colleagues.
And who doesn't like some fun bowling?
Exactly.
Who doesn't like slipping on shoes that have been worn by 3,000 other people?
That's They do a good job at Bolorama.
I
Tom
know
and
they
his
do.
team.
No, we
Yeah.
always have a great time at Bolorama.
Definitely very snazzy.
Yeah.
And a nice thing is it's pajama party is our theme this year.
Oh,
so
my.
just come super comfy to
Oh,
go
my.
along with the very comfy bowler
Okay.
shoes.
All right. And no matter what you actually do wear for pajamas, please.
It
make
is
sure
all ages.
It's all ages. So let's keep that in mind, okay? Yeah. Let somebody show it up. Okay, you're throwing the other teams off.
That's right. Yeah, no cheating in that way. Yeah.
Okay, it's great. It's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Bowl for Kids' sake again this year at Bolorama, and it's Get Rolling in just over a week. No pun intended, but I just heard it. So, Bree, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
That website again to get signed up is barrie.bigbrothersbigsisters.ca. You're on your own for your pajamas. And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian and Will for their input, to Dale Smith for pitching in, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Blue Sky and X at Barrie360 and on our website, Barrie360.com. And there's our daily Kickstart podcast available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.